comboio Alfa CP Comboios de Portugal, procedente de Lisboa-Santa Apolónia e com destino a Braga, que deverá dar entrada na linha número 1. Circula com um atraso de 5 minutos. A sua hora prevista de chegada é às 16 horas e 15 minutos. Pedimos a vossa compreensão pelos incômodos causados. Dentro de momentos, dará entrada na linha número 1. O comboio.
Intermédio de Davi Nunes é o que abriu o marcador. O Luís Adepes acredita. A luz pode voltar outra vez. E a luz e hoje quem vai gritar o gol? Se a bola empate vão ser os adeptos. Eu depois vou acompanhar. Ai, ele vai atirar. Ele vai atirar. Ele vai atirar. Ele vai atirar.
All right, everybody, another edition of Benfica After 90. We've got a special guest today, Jason. Thank you for joining us. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good, guys. Happy to come from the west coast of Canada, home of the Canadian champion Pacific FC. Sorry to poke right away, Mark.
That's all good, all good. You know what? Season 3, right? So it's good, man. It was a fun final, man. Fun final. I got to watch it. And so you'll represent the West Coast because Mello, as we were kind of joking before we went live, is probably in the depths of depression because of his Raiders, and so he will emerge one day.
Yeah,
back from the California love world. And Luis has a nice fireplace on. You know, he just set that.
He's setting the mood.
He's setting the mood.
Yeah, just warms me up. You know, mentally.
Yeah, good win today though, eh? Like we got a 4-1 victory. It's nice to get a good victory. So you got the pop on during more positive. We'll have a few things to chat on. But yeah, before I even get going on the game itself, Jason, just let me a little bit about you, man. Like obviously you're a Benfiquista. How'd you become a Benfiquista? It's one of these like a little bit of the tale of where you came from.
Sure. Well, I have great parents, and when I was born,
there we go.
Just said you're going to be a Benfiquista. Like most people from San Miguel, you know, I like Benfica, and I've got a soft spot for Santa Clara because they wear the right colors and got the right logo. So I think that's where it all started. I was just, you know, my dad is a Benfica fan from way back, and hearing all the stories about Eusebio and Jaime Graça and Antonio Simões, it's just like you can't but fall in love with our club, right? So it's been a long-standing love affair, the only positive relationship I've ever been able to maintain. And, yeah, I think, you know, that's just it. And I've just gotten more passionate about it since our sort of rebirth. You know, we had a few long years that was tough. And if you're old enough to remember some of them, it was hard to be a Benfiquista. And then, you know, with the internet and whatever else, we've been able to see more of them over here, right? So there's easier to build that connection. You just get more passionate. And every time I go to Lisbon, whether the stadium's full or empty, I go for the tour. It doesn't matter what's going on. That's just something I have to do. So, yeah.
That's great. I love that.
Nice. Not that exciting of a guy, but there you go.
Awesome. No, it's you got the right club to cheer for.
That's really
awesome.
What we care about here is what team you support, and as long as you got that scarf, then we're in a good place to start.
Exactly. So, and everyone in the chat, thank you for joining us. Maybe what I'll do is I'll pop into should I just kind of go right into the starting 11? Let's do that. I'll do the shadow for the 11.
Yeah. Sure.
Let's go with that. Okay, we'll get the 11 out and we'll get this thing going here. So for today's starting 11, we had Odysseus in the back. The three defenders were Vertonghen, Otamendi, Almeida. Had Diogo back with Joe Mario and Weigl in the middle and Grimaldo to the other flank. Darwin, Rafa, and Seferovic complete the three people up front there. We had a 4-1 victory, 3 goals from Darwin, 3 assists from Rafa, and a goal from Rafa himself. So a pretty exciting match here. So let's get right into it. Yeah, I love this Boris. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I like that. I like that comment. In terms of just the starting 11, though, I'm kind of curious to hear what everyone's thoughts were. I saw it, and I mean, it's kind of what you expected, more or less. I was kind of surprised to see Gilbert not get the start, but Diogo's healthy, which is always great. Didn't have the best game, but I'm sure we'll get into that. But I was excited because I saw. Okay, I looked at the bench, didn't see Chuck. Looked at the bench, didn't see Maite, but I did see Paulo Bernard and Gonçalo. So I got so excited because right from the get-go, I'm like, hey, listen, especially expecting this to be a relatively easy win. Famalicão had been outscored 7-0 in their last 2 games, embarrassed to the point where they had to go show face with their fans. I'm sure everyone saw that.
Yeah, I saw that clip.
Yeah. Right. So this needed to be a win. So I was assuming, a quick 2-3 nothing, and then put in the young kids. And today, they couldn't put in a Maite to piss me off, or a Chuck. So it was straight to the youth, or so I thought. But we all know how that went.
Yeah, man. 11 wise, I still kind of keep hoping like Murat would get. He did so well recently. Like when he got his few caps, it was good. I just don't understand how the guy gets no love. But outside that, it was great to see Diogo. Be honest, I was excited to see him. I don't think he had a great game. We can talk about that in a bit. And then, yeah, he swapped out Chuck for Seferovic. I think that continues to be an issue up front there, just trying to figure out the right individual. What did you guys think of the 11?
I mean, whether you call it a 5-3-2 or 3-4-3, however you want to look at it, I'm okay with the idea of Almeida, that center back, theoretically, because, it's nice to have a guy on the right side of that 3 that can also play the right wing, depending on how things shift on the pitch, especially when you want to be a fluid team that, maybe you look like a 4-4-2 in attack, maybe you don't. It's good to have that. But, with the way he played against Sporting, it wasn't even about the fact that he wasn't adapting well to center midfield. He was on a slip and slide. Like, he just looked like a guy who never really defended for an experienced player like him. So I always feel like it's a bit of a liability, and I agree with you. I'd like to see Morato. I'm still struggling to understand why Ferro doesn't get a game, particularly against this kind of opposition. And then generally speaking, I'm glad Benfica knows how to play this 5-3-2, because when we play deeper games in Europe, we're going to have to be able to be a team that absorbs pressure. But when we're the team that should be dominant, I don't know that I'm crazy about this setup, particularly how much we struggle in the final third. And particularly, I don't know that we've got the center midfield that can do it on their own, which, I'm sure we'll get onto it. But in the second half, when we brought on the third center midfielder, you saw a big difference, right? Because the amount of area or just pitch that you want 2 center midfielders to cover in this formation, I'm not sure we've got the midfielders to do that. So that was my initial reaction was, why aren't we trying a few more guys against a weak opposition? And why aren't we set up to win? Like, really take it to them rather than playing what I think is more of a defensive formation.
I mean, I agree with what everyone has said so far. I was disappointed to see Almeida starting again. I'm pretty sure we pretty much touched on that again. Nuno said that the 3 at the back are too slow, and I agree with that. Vertonghen is obviously he's not getting any younger. Otamendi might have the passion for it, but he's also not getting any younger. No need to say anything about Almeida, right? I was excited to see Gonçalves. Didn't turn out too good, but I mean, it was at least exciting to see him. And I agree with Joe. I was at least Paulo Bernardo, because Gonçalo we've seen him, especially with like Darwin scoring a hat trick. Okay, get out, get Gonçalo in. Get Gonçalo in. I thought that was going to happen a lot sooner. But Paulo Bernardo did come in, right? Yeah, did come in. I just don't think they don't get enough time. You need it's always the same problem with these kids. They'll come in and like Mario said with Morato as well. Like, it doesn't even matter if you play well or not, because even if you do well, you may not get the start. A 70-year-old might come in next game instead of you, and it just doesn't work like that. In my opinion, at least. Like, it's sad. It's sad when you look at the lineup and you see names like Almeida there. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you, but like you've done what you had to do, and it's time to go. You know, like otherwise we still have Louison playing at the back. You know what I mean? Like
And Jardel.
Part
and
of it,
Jardel, yeah.
part of it feels like he doesn't. I mean, I get that there's some sense of rotation, which I think is why Gilberto didn't start and Diogo did, because Gilberto last match you could see that the minutes were starting to catch up with him.
Yeah.
Gilberto Carlos, by the way, I think he's just been great for us. But then you've got other guys who it doesn't matter how well they do, they're not going to get a second chance. I mean, still struggling to see why Jedson doesn't get in, and like I said, Ferro. Like there's some guys that are sitting on the bench for us that should be getting a shot again against Phil McCown. Like if we're gonna do squad rotation, give some guys a shot. You know, it just I don't get it. And yeah, I agree. Like we can win 5-1, 10-1, whatever it is, but we need a change in management long term. It's not good enough.
Yeah, the a comment from Miguel. Every time we score early, there's a bit of a mentality that we kind of just. It feels like we've taken enough. We take the foot off the gas. I don't think it's direct instructions from the manager. It's just I think it's a mentality issue. And we're off to a great start today. But man, from Millie for a while there, holy cow, were they giving us some grief? Especially like
they have some good names, man. They have some good. Sorry, I interrupted you, but they have some good players. That Banza guy, like he's that shot he had the cross goal. Like if that had gone in, I would have stood up for that because that was such a powerful shot. I thought that Odie got like a tiny little fingertip to it. And he didn't. It was just the ball movement that was that good that it would have. That's unsavable. You put Odie there, you put Neuer there, that's going in.
So he was unreal, and they've got like
fast players.
In the midfield.
Yeah, they've got very fast players there. And the thing is, like going back to what Nuno said, we got anybody's fast when you've got Almeida there. And as much as I respect Vertonghen for his career and stuff, like he's slow. He's slow, and you can't expect him to play every single game. And he's gonna break. It's gonna be one of those. He's gonna break very soon. Oh, and then what? Then you're forced to play Morato when he hasn't had any games whatsoever, and he's gonna come in like cold. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, but we got 2 injuries. You didn't rotate, JJ. You didn't expect the unexpected, which is also almost expected.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it goes to the whole Verissimo. Like one of the reasons he really stood out is he had a young, pacey center back, right? And Otamendi and Yan are experienced, but if you got that combination of experience and a pacey guy, it works well. When you just got slower guys, they tend to struggle a bit more. And one of the struggles at one point, I don't want to even pick on the defenders, but it's an issue we've had for a while, is just the ball distribution out of the back. Sometimes it can be so challenging. So in the first half, there's just this moment where we got possession and went to Odie. Millicel started pressuring. Odie passed, I think it was to Otamendi. Millicel player went to Otamendi. Otamendi passed to friggin' Odie. Odie then passed to Vertonghen. Vertonghen then passed to Odie. Then Odie passed to João Mario, which was now already in the box. Like we have possession in our own box, a lot. And I'm looking at him like, okay, we got 3 center backs. We got 2, full backs that are supposed to kind of bomb up, or at least I'm looking at this. All of a sudden now we got like 5 hovering in the back, and then you got a 6, which is João Mario, and all of a sudden you're seeing our box looks so congested. And this is us with the ball. It's not one thing is when they're coming and they're attacking, you have to kind of batten down, get ready to defend. But it's almost like it almost looked like they had the ball, and we have moments like that where it's just leaving us kind of a little bit exposed, and then eventually what Odie does, because you keep like encroaching, it gets tighter and tighter to the box, pass it back to Odie, just bomb it down far, and the ball got lost. It's just being able to kind of take advantage of the fact you're going to play with 3 in the back and you got the fullbacks. You got to ping and distribute, and to me, like one of the most beautiful plays of the game was what happened with Diogo hustling for the ball. It was a goal by Rafa, but it started with him hustling the ball in the fullback, bombed it up, and I can't remember who passed it up, but there's ways where you get the ball where you pass up and you can pass back down, but you make it quick. You keep that transition going.
That was like the Gilbert goal, the third goal.
Yeah, I think it was but it was Diogo. Gilberto was there. João Mario, they pinched him. Either Gilberto or João Mario got the ball, but I think it was Gilberto. He had tossed it up. But then if the ball then got passed to Darwin passed back. Then it passed back up to Rafa. Rafa did a nice ball to Rafa. But that's where you can kind of zigzag the ball, but you got to do it pacey. What we're doing a lot of is we'll pass the ball up and hold it. Let them come towards us and then pass it back again. Like we don't have that. You pass it up to, if you're going to do that V kind of formation, just go a little faster upwards, right?
I think that today was one of the first days where I've actually, because here's the thing. Obviously, we know Sporting, they perfected this formation and they played in the league all the time. Granted, their whole squad is a lot different. They have outside backs that are pacey. They have strikers that can finish. They have a midfield that controls the game, right? Completely different squads all around. But to me, the biggest thing is today was the first time where Famalicão played into like this formation. Famalicão played today in a way where, okay, we have the ball in the back. Guess what? We could have Diogo and Grimaldo push all the way up, practically to their outside backs, and their team just wasn't doing a job of pressing at all. I'm not even going to say a good job; they just weren't pressing.
Yeah.
So much so that our back three was passing it up like 20 yards, right up to those outside backs, and then they were doing stuff with it. It wasn't always the right move.
Yeah.
And that's why one of the most disappointing things to me today was to see the fact that none of the goals came from crosses.
Yeah.
They all, okay, Gilbert did start one of the plays, right? But there were so many plays. There was the one where Grimaldo missed it in the box where Weigl put that beautiful ball over the top. Grimaldo takes the right touch, doesn't do anything with it. On the right side, Diogo Gonçalves, I didn't think did a lot today. Grimaldo, I didn't think either. A game like today, where they're giving you that much room on the sides, you should be putting in at least 2-3 goals through the flanks, right? Through the sides.
Especially when you're playing with two out-and-out strikers, right? I mean, that's the thing. Is,
Yeah.
you know, Darwin played a little bit deeper, but that's just because he's trying to compensate that for that pace. That, you know, there was not enough crosses for having two strikers in the starting lineup. Part of this is also a function of the fact that we're playing against a team that is not interested in getting caught on the counterattack because they are the weaker team. So they're going to play that lower block, and they're not going to commit as many guys forward, so they can't get caught on the counterattack. And Benfica's formation is designed to catch you on the counterattack. That's why Sporting got us. That's why Sporting wins, is because they're set up to catch teams on the counterattack and they've got the pace, but they also adjust. And I think the other problem is that, you know, we don't have a player in our final third that is creating opportunities and spaces in those tight spaces, like a Pedro Gonçalves. It should be Everton, but we can't seem to get much out of him. Right? If we're using Rafa for pace, where's the guy with the ball at his feet that's able to find that half a yard without losing possession, without it only being about pace, but in those 1-to-1s, it's just not there, right? So,
I think that's a great point. And one of the things to me is like, you look at kind of like you said, the player that is like the guy that breaks up the plays, right? The equilibrator, like you want to say, right? Rafa, yeah, everyone knows Rafa, right? He's the guy that's going to actually start the attacks. And if he's in a game where, for the most part, you know, he'll say, okay, head down, let me just dribble until someone fouls me, or I pass it or make the wrong decision or whatever, but he gets us into the box. But when you're a team like us, you almost want it like exactly. In a perfect world, it's Everton. In a perfect world, even a Peasy, right? Like that's he can't run, he can't defend. When the ball's at his feet, that's when he does his work. That's when he shows you his value. But to me, it's like at the beginning of the season, it felt like we weren't missing that as much because I feel like João Mario was doing a decent job of that.
He started good. João Mario started really good, and I feel unfortunately, it was. Everyone was kind of like, oh, I don't know if it's a good idea of signing him, and we weren't too sure either. And once he came in, we're like, this guy's amazing. He's doing fantastic. He got a lot of praise and fairly, and just did well. But he has tapered off lately quite a bit, and I just don't know if. This kind of comes down to, is it what's going on in the training grounds? Like, is the instructions he's being given in terms of how he plays his positioning? Because I do find he plays so far deep in our team. Like the amount of times I catch him so like deep in when you're supposed to be that attacking mid almost, or at least kind of distributing the ball in the center of the midfield. Because it leaves these gaps. Like also because Weigl still stays kind of deep because that's his job. And all of a sudden João Mario gets it and Weigel's right next to him and you kind of look forward. And then you got maybe the guys out, but there's there's almost no one in the middle, or you got a guy that's marked by two players or something of the sort, where it makes it very hard to kind of distribute that ball forward.
Luis,
yeah,
I'm curious to hear what you have to say, because this comment from Nuno Sarri just made me think of it. I do want you to continue with your point, but do you think? Remember how last year we talked about how Everton needed a break and how Darwin needed a break because mentally and physically they were just. Do you think it's time for João Mario?
Fuck yeah. I was about to say, I think it's mainly minutes. I think first and foremost, I think it's minutes. He's been playing and then he got an injury, which I don't think it was that much of an injury. I think it was just more like, look, I'm so exhausted that anything can knock me down. And also, I think what JJ is trying to ask of him is more of a box-to-box role, where somebody that comes down, picks up the ball, and takes it forward. I mean, he's not. He's a creative midfielder. He's a center attacking midfielder. He's supposed to stay there. It'd be like a number 10, sort of, like a pivot.
Yeah.
In futsal, it's like a pivot. You're not coming back for it. You're receiving the ball with your back to the strikers and distributing it.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's running up and down like a box to box, he's not going to do that. And again, you look at this team, right? And there's been talks about Grimaldo not wanting to renew. Odie apparently is linked with Newcastle, but then everybody and their grandma is linked to Newcastle right now. So, like, it's
Lucas going to Newcastle.
You lose, you get to the end of the season, you lose Grimaldo, right? This is like, I'm not saying it's going to happen. If it happens, you lose Grimaldo, you lose Darwin, you lose Rafa. That's it. Your team is, you got Seth, Yaremchuk, Pizzi, and then Almeida, Otamendi, Vertonghen. Like, you're going to be on the ropes. Like, unless you start bringing up the guys now, Paulo Bernardo, Gonçalo, Morato, even Ferro, give him another shout, Embalo, he got so many good shouts to, like, you got Covilhã coming up, right? You're going to see, because you got to beat them by 2 goals or more, right? Or 3 goals or more, whatever it is. So somebody said in the chat before as well, I can guarantee you line up with freaking Everton and all of that, when he should realistically, Paulo Bernardo should do the job against Covilhã. And I'll do it. I'll do it. No, you guys are kids. Go in there. Give me a result. Let's go through, and you got your chance guaranteed. But then again, being JJ, if you're a kid and you hear that, Gonçalo's going to be like, yeah, no, I don't believe him. Do you know what I mean? That's the sort of credibility that JJ doesn't have anymore. With JJ, you don't have to just play well. You have to be lucky, because Morato's done nothing not to deserve that spot. But if Morato came out, got a red card, and gave away 2 goals, I'd be the first one to say, get out. Like, fuck that. Like, go, like Ferro. At one point, we all sort of agreed, yeah, Ferro's not ready for this, man. Like, we need somebody else. Yeah, mentally, yeah. But now it's been a while. Come in. I'm not asking you to come in and play the 97 minutes, with extra time. I'm saying, come in. Look, now, today, take Almeida out, get Ferro in. Like, take Darwin out, get Gonçalo in. What are you waiting for? He's waiting
especially
to
when
have nothing else.
He's waiting for. I know exactly what you're saying. Waiting until like an extreme happens where it's an injury, guys are burnt out, or things are going well. But by the 56th minute, you're up 4-1.
I was just gonna say that, Mario.
Yeah, it's done. Yeah. The tie's done. And he did do subs. He did subs in the early 70th minute.
He did subs at halftime. Yeah. And then he brings on, what he ends up doing is, so that he used 2 subs at halftime. So just to refresh, so the rules, we have 5 subs, but we can only do them 3 times. So right there, you have 2 more opportunities to sub on 3 players, okay? And this is at halftime. We score the second goal right in the 46th, that great play with Rafa, right? Then Darwin makes it 4-1 in the 56th. Okay, Famalicão actually brings on some guys in the 63rd. To me, the second that they were bringing, even before then, in all reality, but the second that they brought in those guys, I said, okay, JJ, make your move. You can give guys 30 minutes here, which is that's legitimate playing time. This isn't Jacques 2 years ago where it's 3 minutes in stoppage time when you're down 2-1, and this is legit. And the thing was, who does he bring on? 72nd minute, Pizzi, who some people will say he deserves it from the Sporting game. I think that's just hogwash. He got the start for the Champions League game, did nothing. He's slow defensively, did nothing. In this game, whatever, we'll get to Charisse and stuff later, but I thought he was terrible. Brings in Gil Dias. Very happy to see that. Didn't think Grimaldo had a good game at all. And Grimaldo needs rest. We've all been saying.
But most players in this team feel like that, because you've been playing Champions League, and we all know, dude. We watch football. But the thing is, even sorry, I'll let you go in a second. Sorry. Even the pace of the games is completely different. And just mentally adapting to, you just played against Kiev in front of like the Champions League anthem.
The world.
And not the world, yeah. And all of a sudden you played against, no offense, to Famalicão with João in the stands with his iPhone recording the fuck, is this on Sport TV? Yeah. Zooming in like that and out, on Rose Z, where's the ball at?
We were joking about the
I always say
work
this.
was horrific.
I'm like a broken record. I always say, I watch it from bed. I was in bed. I haven't been feeling too well today, so I watched it in bed. And at one point, I sat there on the edge because I was like, "Where the fuck is the ball?" all my life, I honestly went to get my. I don't wear glasses. But at one point, I thought I may need glasses at this point because I can't see. Like, oh, the ball's there. I'm looking at the wrong player. I'm like, I thought he had the ball. We got a corner. Like
when I watch the games against Moreira and Anson from Millicom away, I literally
Dude.
I rewatched some of the games like today where I was busy during the match itself, but I was looking, I was like, wait, is that just to go to the extent I couldn't tell if it was Weigl or João Mario. That's an issue.
Yeah.
One's this tall, one's that tall, one's German, one's Portuguese.
Dude.
One's bald, one's
Mate, one's bald.
They
Right?
got cranes. They got cranes in Portugal, right?
Yeah.
No, but
Dude,
it's so low. The camera's so low, and also like when we were joking on, we had a little side chat, and we were kind of watching the match. It's like zoom in, zoom out.
Yeah,
It's constantly
he's doing this,
zooming in.
Mario. He's doing this.
No,
Ain't gonna ball that. Zoom in there, zoom in. Yeah, right.
It's
Mr. Bean, like doing the whole like, like, come on, man. Stop it, bro. Like, come on.
But yeah, man, it's and there's a good comment there between a chat between Miguel and Boris on the average age is like 37 or whatever the heck.
Chat between the chat. Oh, dare you.
Chat between the chat. Yeah, no, but in terms of like the age of these guys, and I don't know, I'm very curious about this upcoming match because if you look at it, Covilla, they're what 16th in the second division.
Covilla is terrible this year.
Yeah,
like
16th in the second division. Benfica B is first. You could effectively bench everyone, bring Murat and a few of these other guys on, and some of the B team guys, and you should smash them. And
that's what I was thinking, absolutely. I mean, first of all, the criteria that gets Pizzi on the field is not applied to every player, right? You show 12 minutes of brilliance, and all of a sudden you're back on the pitch in critical moments. But for Murato, it's not good enough.
Exactly.
Jensen, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. First of all, Ferro people are still assuming Ferro is the player that we put under too much pressure 3 seasons ago or 2 seasons ago than he is now. They forget that bit. But I also think like exactly the point you're making. We have the top team in the second division. Okay, I can understand a bunch of first team players that aren't match fit like Meite and Lazaro who haven't had a good run of games being used, absolutely. But particularly in the back line, where's Branimir Kalaika? He's been on the B team. I think he's probably 324.
Kalaika, wow, yeah.
That was three seasons ago. Right. It wasn't last season. It was 3 seasons ago that he was playing.
How good he looked, right? So where's the development? Where's the progression? Let's get this kid in and see how he does as well, because center back is a problem. Also, the market for center backs is insanely expensive. It's not going to be an easy fix.
Because they win titles, the center backs. That's why they're so expensive.
The thing is, exactly, you're right. Because Kawats was player of the league last season, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion.
Don't say that name because I'm still pissed off. I think Kawats is not playing for Sporting. Easy one, this one.
Listen, we're just talking about the B team, right? I mean, I know that there are some rules in the Taça Liga competition where you have to have a certain amount of first team players, whatever. Whatever, fine.
We got a rich bench of first team players.
But but even then, right? I want to see some of these guys playing. Gonçalo isn't a youth player, right? He counts the first team. So is Paulo Bernard, maybe. But these guys, here's the thing. But you want to talk about he just brought up Kalaika, right? For center backs. We're also not even mentioning Tomás Araújo, who's phenomenal, right? Yeah. Pedro Álvaro, who's been phenomenal for anyone that's watched the youth league. Or I know me and Luis are pretty big into the B team games now, right? Yeah. And so these guys are like Tomás Araújo, just like a quick analysis for anyone that hasn't watched him. I know that he's playing against younger competition when he's playing in the youth league, but when he plays with the B team in the Segunda Divisão, right, in the Segunda Liga, he's playing against grown men professionals that are trying to make the first division, and he is so calm on the ball. It's incredible.
Can I just add something? And then Ahmed is also playing against the younger opposition. Doesn't make it any better, does it? Though? Anybody out there is younger than him. I'm at starting 65 next week.
He's already collect government benefits.
But do you guys not think this speaks to a wider problem with the club, which is there's no vision? Because I think João Mario came into this team, and I've been begging for center midfielders to come into the team for at least 3 seasons. Like since Enzo left, I don't remember us having we've had a hole there. And I think it's one of the big reasons why we haven't won titles in the last few years is that we get beat in midfield. I remember 3 years ago, I was watching Porto's Benfica. It was the first match or second match of the season I was in Portugal. And I watched Uribe just dominate the entire game because no one could challenge him. And I thought, you need to go out and buy center backs. Or center midfielders. I can't be the only one. Now we've only brought in really one because Weigl is a defensive center midfielder. When they play basically a 5-2-3, they're asking those two to do jobs that they can't do, which is why I think when even Taarabt came on, which terrified me, by the way, because every time
Yeah.
I get on the pitch, I'm terrified of what he's going to do. It got better because there was more solidity in center midfield. I think everything got better from there. So maybe they need to switch to 5-3-2. But it feels like ever since is it Zeb Bolto, who was the director of football before Thiago Pinto? But
Yeah.
since he left, our recruitment has got poorer. Our ability to bring in youth players has got poorer. The team itself right now under Jorge Jesus doesn't really have an identity either. I mean, like, who are we? What do we do? Are we a dominant club? Are we a club that absorbs pressure and plays off the counterattack? Or are we just we're winning through just pure chaos? If we catch you on your bad day, we're gonna get you. But if we have to fight, we don't really know how to do that. And I mean, that's the biggest problem. I never wanted Jorge Jesus back the second time. I never really forgave him for the way he left the club.
Yeah.
There's got to be something in this club where you say, look, we need a director, a technical director, some kind of vision, because otherwise it's going to be continue to be this patchwork approach. And we can talk about all these youth players we want, but big clubs in Europe are already seeing them. Remember, like Thiago, we almost lost. What's his name? That Thiago kid that played for Bayern's B team last year.
I love
for
Cardozo.
Cabela
This
now.
comment right here. Sorry, this guy. I still despise Manuel Cardozo how he left. I hate how he isn't brought back.
imagine. You know what? I'll take him at 40. Fuck
I'll
it.
take him just as like. But you know
But
what?
here's the thing: you can't play him because Jesus hates him. He tried to fight him on the pitch after a game.
Yeah.
He's never going to play.
Oh,
I feel a lot of people
shit.
talk about that. It's
Yeah,
like
no,
you could bring in Messi. If Jesus didn't like Messi, he's not getting on the pitch. He's
Yeah,
not
the
going to do
thing-
anything.
It's-
My,
it's a
my
stubbornness.
best hope is this though. Like JJ's contract is basically done, right after this season. And
right.
my only hope is that like you said, there's no vision. And I think if that was a vision, we wouldn't have got Romario. We would have paid 20 or 25 million for Renato Sanches because we would have been thinking we have someone that we can potentially sell in a couple of years if we have to for 40 or 50.
and we know what
And
we're
he's gotta-
getting.
Huh?
And we knew what we'd get with.
I know, and
a
we know that he
we
can
need
do a
strong box.
He
to
can
box.
be that guy, the box
Yeah.
to box, and he can be the one carrying, us, Benfica, to the round of 16, or to the quarters because he's gonna dominate the midfield. But that isn't, and I think Vertonghen, or Otamendi, and João Mario, and all these apart from maybe Darwin, they were very much like success now, not tomorrow. Like, we want to do well now because it's my last year here. So I want to make sure I win a trophy this year. So I can say,
I wouldn't be here
went
anymore.
back to Benfica, got a trophy, fuck off. That's it, because next year I'm not going to be here. So if they go and the ship goes down, I'm already I'm already out, And I only have a little bit of hope that Rui Costa now as the guy because we know, or at least I know, that Rui Costa and JJ are not the best of friends. He's there for now. That's cool. Rui Costa's not going to sack anybody. That's fine. Your contract is done. Bye. See ya. And then get a guy. I'm not going to start saying names. Just get a guy. Get a guy. And then build around that guy.
Yes,
and think about get a guy that has a vision, that has something. Look, I don't want to go and spend 100 million because we can't, but I want to work with the B team. Or maybe get a few dots here and there, like maybe a Galeno. It's an example. Maybe a Galeno here, maybe whatever.
Ricardo Horta.
No, Ricardo, yeah. So you know what? Both Hortas, get them both. Bring them both.
Someone on the
2
pitch
for 1.
After scored. Like, but the thing for me is like this team. We've been talking about this for a while. Where obviously there's like, what's the vision? What's this? What's that? Like everyone. First of all, great comment from Raining. Nice to see him back in the chat. But what's the identity of this team? It is Luigi, like you said. It's to win now, right? JJ's gone at the end of the year. Otamendi, who's been phenomenal. I'm not saying anything against him, but that's not a future signing. Neither is Vertonghen. Almeida still starting your back line. I mean, that's just desperation at its finest. And you look through the rest of the squad, it's like, okay, you look at the front, take away the back three, take away Odie, right? And you're kind of like, well, what do we like? What's this team? Like, what is this team? What is your like foolproof starting 11?
Well,
right?
part of it was built only to win on the let's be super cynical but real. most of this team was built to win an election last year by a guy who's not around anymore.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
no long-term vision, right?
Exactly.
But
That's it.
lucky
The
on
1 year thing.
signing that he was affordable for us because of the financial situation of Inter. Otherwise, this was just like get me through October, and then we'll see what happens. Because if you apply the criteria that Bruno Lage and Rui Vitória were subject to, George Jesus isn't around anymore. He's not.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
Oh no, if it was Bruno Lage, he would have been gone last season after Pau.
COVID wouldn't have been a cover. Nothing.
He would have played one game and been out.
Absolutely, it's absurd, and I think you're right. I think it feels a little bit like we're just trying to get through this year and see what happens,
and kind of build from there. So real quick, so someone on Twitter, Nelson here, he reached out to me and he shared a really cool article here. So I'll just kind of pop that up on the screen for everyone. It was I'll send this to Joe also. I hadn't had a chance to actually share with you. But yeah, it's the 2021 finances. It was actually quite neat, and they pulled up a lot of data on kind of the impact that past year had, the 2021 kind of season right here. Because the red marker is like, yeah, people in the stands. Obviously, less people in the stands. You're getting less match day revenue, things of the sort. So obviously, it impacted finances. Not going to the Champions League group stage. That whole cluster mess up there with George Jesus impacted us financially on that side. And then on top of that, you had operating costs actually went up, right? Because you started spending more money. Wage costs went up because we started signing all these guys. So Otamendi's not cheap on wages. Neither is Vertonghen. These are expensive players from a salary standpoint. They're not going to yield as much. And it was all on this, like, obviously we spent more than we made, right? And yeah, so it's an interesting kind of perspective that financially, he bet the house on Jorge Jesus, Lucio Vieira, for the reason of trying to get reelected. For a very temporary vision. And Jorge Jesus was at one time when they were first in talks, I'll come in for 1 year. Fine, I'll do 2 years. You're going to give me a budget. I don't want to talk about long-term planning success at Benfica. All I care about is these short-term signings, right? And you see it now.
It boggles my mind that Jorge Jesus was a re-election campaign does everyone forget how he left the club?
Well, it was all Flamengo. I mean, all of social media social media.
Oh, they're going ballistic.
Everything. The media in general is very like in the now. They knew that he went to the FIFA Club World Cup final and only lost in extra time to a Bayern Munich team that was the best in the world with Flamengo, which blah 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 blah. Only had Gabigol. No, whatever. I'm not even gonna get into that. But my thing is for me, all of that would be fine if it was like a 2 year vision. We knew JJ wasn't here for the long run. When he got signed, he said the president asked me to stay for 4 years. I said 1 year. He said no, come for at least 2, and we decided on 2. He said it in his presentation.
Yeah, he did. It was very clear, very clear. This is why we're gonna get these Otamendi's. We're gonna get these we're gonna pay extra for these proven items to get us titles.
Their whole strategy was to sign Vertonghen and Otamendi to do this back through with Ruben Dias. That was the long term vision.
Yeah. Long term. When Jorge Jesus said I only wanted 1 year, because he's such a humble guy. That I took 2 years because he was kind of low key saying I'm going to do so good. You're going to want me here for 10 years after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't think he thought I'm here for a short term project. I think he showed up saying like I'm so good. You're going to give me a 1 year contract and then beg me to stay, and probably Real Madrid will call. And it's like
that's what I thought.
You bottled 2 European finals for us. You left the way you left. Then you took off to Saudi Arabia, and right before you lost to Campeonato to Rui Vitória there, you also bailed on them because we know that was going to happen. Nobody at our club should really be convinced that you're any better than anyone else, right? Like, I'm sorry, I don't get it. It's really frustrating. Like, he's just not that great, you know.
I like it, mate. No, mate. I need to buy. I was playing FIFA last night and I scored the equalizer and I went like this and my boom arm now look it just dies. No, but like it's fun. I agree, but it's funny because when he's so big headed because he was like, no one's gonna win the Libertadores. No other Portuguese is gonna win the Libertadores in 100 years. Who are you, Bella Goodman? Fuck off! Literally 2 years, 1 year after, done. It's like
the double down on
it. It didn't even take
with worse teams. I mean, great. The Palmeiras didn't have a good squad, but like
straight after. That's what's amazing. It wasn't like 10 years later or something, He has the excuse
10 months later.
Or something. No. And the best part wasn't like He left and Flamengo like went down in the gutter, right? They went back to the final. They won the league the year he left, and then they went back to the Libertadores final the year after he left. We're like, what? What are you like? What is this? This guy? Nobody for Jorge Jesus when he hears like they have all these FIFA galas and stuff like Ballon d'Or stuff, and it's like manager of the year. He legitimately probably thinks he's in those conversations.
Oh yeah,
like, he's delusional. He's
okay.
So I have a friend that coaches in Amadora, and he's probably better than him.
So on the Gala note, and this is just something that irritated me.
Does he want to coach Benfica? Give him a shot.
He coaches Amadora futsal, so
there we go. But yeah, on the Gala side, and this was kind of a bit of a scandal last night at the Benfica Gala, where they're trying to get Luis Felipe Vieira supporters, and they're having a hard time getting them in, and they didn't trust Benfiquistas to be in the Gala because they're kind of scared of what happened. So they're paying people to fill the stands. And suppose that came out again where for the recent Gala, they had like a few, but there's a paranoia at the club that people that are Benfica are going to come out and speak out. Like, there's a reason why Bernardo Silva is kept away from anything related to Benfica. The guy is like Benfica's star player. We produce so many stars globally, but he is one of the top players. And people will like talk about how he's like the heart of Manchester City, one of the best players in the English Premier League. And any Portuguese player that's being talked in the same light as one of the top EPL players is usually ranted and raved across the board. And you have in Portuguese media the three components: Benfica, Sporting, and Porto, and they plug their boy. Benfica does not plug Bernardo Silva because Bernardo Silva does not like how this club's being run. Yeah. And so they're petrified of giving any of these guys airtime or putting them in a position where they love the club and they go to an event to support the club that they might indirectly, all of a sudden make a face or something of something they don't like or things of sort, or not clap. So they got to get past this like self-image issue, this paranoia issue. Pull up your big boy pants and get to work, right? And Boris, man, he's spot on.
Say happy birthday to Bernardo, but didn't they have a happy birthday to like Franco Servier or something?
It was literally everyone else that ever played for the club except for like Cardozo and
the last 20 years gets a happy birthday. Yeah. Bernardo doesn't.
Hey, come on,
Cardozo.
Come on, man.
The left back that Jorge Jesus.
Oh, what's that? Who is Rhoda? Blocked for 5 minutes.
Oh man,
it's a bot.
What do you mean it's a bot? She sounds like a porn star, man. Come on.
But one of the things that's kind of I will do a quick, real quick. I'll do for anyone that's joining us now or joining us that wasn't able to watch the game or just in general to kind of bring it back more to the match. We don't want Vieira to ruin all of our moods after a good win. It really. But so obviously we went over the starting 11 and everything. Game started off pretty hot. 6th minute, Rafa passes over to Darwin. Darwin really with a great play, real clever touch, and put it back in the bottom right-hand corner, make it 1-0. We're all happy. Life is good. And then in the 14th, as much as we hit on Andre Almeida, he did start the second goal. Andre Almeida puts a beautiful through ball over the top to Rafa.
Amazing.
And Rafa, much to his credit again, what does he do? Makes the right decision and passes it through over to Darwin.
Nah. I'm not happy. Nah.
He
tried to chip the goalie for the goal. But he fucked it.
If that was his attempt at a chip, Luis? No, that had to be. If that's his attempt at a chip,
brother, I am telling you.
I watched the replay. I'm actually 50 on this. I'm like, part of me is like, I think he looked and passed, and part of me is he chipped and his head turned going, oh crap, it's missing it. He got it. Yes, what a pass.
Because he doesn't even look at. He knows Darwin's there. Don't get me wrong, but like the way he looks down, he tries to flick that. I almost feel like as soon as he releases that ball, he goes. Like I bottled it, and then he goes, "Oh yeah, great."
I think that's how you felt because it's how I felt too. But he did finish it.
Yeah, it was perfect. It was perfect.
But then Darwin,
amazing play though, amazing play. I love that play. I love the flip, everything about it.
The main
reason Darwin, if he was standing a further yard out, you'd have missed, mate. You're like, why are you putting that on? Like, don't give me this stuff, man. Like, just start pinning the net. Why are you booting it up? Like, what's it? Trying to score a rugby goal or something? Like, what's going? Like.
The thing for me today, the reason why I thought I was an assist mainly is because he was just so unselfish all game. Like Rafa,
too much sometimes.
Yeah, no. I mean, yeah, there was a couple times in the box where he's trying to find passes where he should just try to take a shot or where he's classic Rafa. But regardless, there we went up, and in those first 20 minutes, that was in the 14th minute. in those first 15, 20, almost 25 minutes even, right? 25th minutes when the goal comes in from Famalicão, but we controlled the game. Right? It wasn't like you were saying, Mario. It didn't get to the point yet where we were dribbling in our own box. They weren't even pressing at all. They were just going with a low block, so much so that Otamendi didn't even have to pass it out if he wanted to. He could have just held it at his feet. They'd send it to the flanks, high up on the flanks, and we try to do stuff. We weren't putting in crosses, but we were able to get 2 goals early, which for a team that has this fear of shooting is it's something that puts my mind at ease. Right? Because I feel like for us,
if we didn't score those 2 goals early, what do you think this game would have looked like?
It would have looked like a 2-1 Benfica win in like the 88th minute, all like sufried and all like we would have been sweating and crying.
Like Benfica Boa Vista, like Jonas in the last minute. What do you think? Like, oh my God, my heart.
You didn't catch them quick and change the sort of complexion of the game immediately. I feel like we would have just suffered through it. And, like, look, the tone of this whole conversation, we won 4-1. And I hope I didn't bring the negativity, but like we're not that happy about it. Like,
well, no, it's not. It's
not digging it. Like that's the problem. It's like 4-1 feels like 2-1 now.
Part of it,
no, and it's not.
Go ahead.
No, quickly, it's a quick thing. Even when we won the game against Kiev, I was happy for Benfica, but I wasn't happy for the players and the coach because it's almost like you guys don't deserve this. Almost, I felt it was a weird feeling, and it was probably the first time I ever felt like that. Is that I was happy for the badge, for the club, for the fans, for our history, But the players themselves, I'm thinking, most of you don't deserve this shit because you wouldn't care if you were out or in. You played because that's your job. You didn't play for Benfica. You played because you turned up to work, basically. I guess 2, maybe 3 players in there, like, it means something to them, but most of them are like, oh, well, it felt that way. And it was the first time. And it goes on to today, like, you were mentioning, we beat these guys 4-1, but I think, like, I don't know, like, it just didn't feel like a 4-1 win. It didn't feel like a 4-1.
You beat a team 4-1 that lost 4-0 to Marítimo, lost 3-0 to Portimonense, whoever it was the week before. You beat a terrible team.
So we conceded.
Correct.
Is a negative.
We did. We were the first time in 3 games they even scored. A team so bad that
and they could have scored a few more.
You guys are so bad that I'm going to let the fans berate you for 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like all I have to say. But the thing really that comes down to is that it's this team. I don't know if it's the coach. It's tough to put it on the coach, and Mello would agree with me if he was here. It's like just like the switch.
It's the mentality,
right? But even then, so I'll kind of continue with the match summary. Famalicão's first goal. How does it happen? 25th minute, Grimaldo concedes a throw-in. After the throw-in, it gets thrown into Ivo Rodrigues, who's a pretty good player, right? What happens? Darwin actually runs back. I can't fault Darwin 100%, right? But he does run back and then kind of stops, doesn't go to Ivo, who's the guy who ends up crossing it in for the goal. Then you look at Weigl. Weigl doesn't close him down. João Mario wasn't even in the screen at the time, so he's not back. And then you look at the actual goal itself. The ball is inside the 6-yard box when it's headed in. Odie should also be doing something there.
I'll be honest with you. I think the post did more than most of the Benfica defenders because, like, the post tried it. The post was like,
at least they hit the other guy.
The ball will go in, but I'll break your neck. Like the guy nearly broke his neck to score against us, and this is what it means to them. He's like, I'm gonna break my neck and be crippled for the rest of my life, but I'm gonna score against Benfica. Dude, he risked it.
Oh no, he hit hard right here.
When he hits it as well, that's your spine. That's like. If you break that, you're good. You're not Paralympics. That's it. That's your best shout. No, I'm not. No, I'm not being rude. I'm just being realistic.
No, the paraplegic shit.
You went in.
Yeah.
You went in. You think Seth is doing that? Oh man, a bit too far. I didn't make that one. I didn't make that one. The guy's like, I see a post there, but I'm going for it. Just that sort of thing for Famalicão as well. No offense, but he did that for Famalicão. I mean, I wouldn't be doing that for Famalicão, but like, fuck that, that's my neck. No, but he did it, and I respect him for it.
And then at that whole time, like, and then right after, actually, there was a play where the one where Vertonghen kind of fell down. I couldn't figure out if it was a foul or not. But Odie makes that great save because André Almeida couldn't clear the ball correctly, and boom, right there. They had right after that, 30 minutes in, Benfica and Famalicão both had 2 big chances.
Yeah.
Or even before that, actually, it was when it was still 2-0 before the first goal. They had 2 big chances. So
The
like we're
buzzer one
saying,
as well. That was
we
a
won
huge
we
chance.
won 4-1, but like
Yeah.
it wasn't as close to a team that has been absolute trash.
And Ross made this comment a bit ago, and basically, it really feels like do or die at this stage of the season because of these upcoming matches. Like a Taça Liga, call it what it is. It's still a cup, and we want to win cups. And after the money we spent,
take it.
we want everything, right? We want to win everything. And then we got the Porto matches, 2 critical matches, Taça Portugal, and lose in the Liga against Porto. I know the point gap's not that big now, but it becomes very wide, and it's very hard to close that gap. Especially if you got 2 guys. It's different when you got a big gap between one guy and you can hope to catch up on them. Because hopefully they'll make some mistakes and you can go on a run, you're good to go. But when you got 2 teams with that big gap on you, one can screw up, but the other one can still keep running, right? So it's truly do or die. Come New Year's, if George Jesus doesn't deliver, it's a big task. It's tough to beat Porto, but at the end of the day, that's the expectation after the money we spent. If he can't do it after that kind of resources, after you had a full season, got to retool, reinforce, and he still can't do it, maybe it is time to go. And I'd say I hope they're looking for a potential replacement now that they can tap on and say, hey, if things go sideways, we might be giving you a call. Would you be interested to take this phone call if it happens? And we'll give you some money for January to get a few things, and you make a run at it. And not much money, but just give
Mario,
something.
But I would hope that the guy, first of all, just and I do want to make this point very clear, regardless of what my stance is on JJ, if JJ leaving means one, Verissimo coming up from the B team, or João de Deus taking over again, like he did during like the COVID time. If we have one of the 2 AOK guys come back, I don't want it. Give me JJ. Give me JJ. I'm done with that. But if you have a guy, if you have a guy that you bring in, well, if you have a guy that you bring in, though, even I don't want him to get money in January. I want it to be a guy that looks at our squad and says, listen, JJ's been mismanaging it. You have the talent here. You just need to know how to use it. I want him to use the youth team because honestly, if you're
I got a guy.
If you're a I know a guy, he's manages an ultimate team. That's about it. But
what are you talking about? No, I know a guy. He manages up north. I've been saying it even before JJ. He's there, man. He's there. He just needs a better squad. Carvalhal will pick these guys up, man. I'm telling you.
Listen,
I like the guy, man. Who's that guy from Braga? That, by the way, didn't he like pick up a youngster from Braga from like the B team or something, and he scored?
Kid?
Yeah. By the way, I'm not. That's not why I'm saying all. I said this before JJ freaking came back.
He was in the debate when Ruben Amorim was still at Braga. We were talking about Carvalhal, and then when the whole swap with Ruben going Sporting, he went there. It's like, that was a guy that potentially could have fit for us, right?
I don't know. I just have this thing.
Yeah, no.
Then again, 3 months in, I'll be like, get out! Fuck out your shit!
Should we the match time?
Before we go, can I just highlight one comment, man?
Yeah,
Noon said something, dude. Like I said something about he said Seth would have missed and still hit the post. On the play with the from the Cons goal. And it's true though.
The neck would have been fully gone.
He would have still fucked his neck up, but missed. Anyway.
Okay, chase the match. Here we go. All right, guys. The deal. Shoot the match, play the match, all the fun stuff. Jason, you're the guest. Want to go first? Your play, and maybe the player that was not as attractive. Your Charisse.
I'm going to go with Darwin for player of the match. The hat trick, it's an easy pick for me.
Yeah.
Play of the match was the chip or the cross. However, you fall on the Joe Luis debate for that goal. I thought it was just a nice, tidy little play. And Charisse of the match for me, if I had to pick a player, it's going to be Pizzi, probably because I think his ratings would have been the lowest in the game. I haven't looked at player ratings too closely, but I think for me, he probably
it was tied for lowest.
Yeah, so I'm just going to go with him. The real Charisse of the match, I think this conversation makes it very clear it's always going to be the manager, but let's leave it at that.
Fair enough.
Perfect. Or Joe.
Yeah. Okay, go.
For me, for my man of the match, it's a guy that I've really been constantly trashing on the last season and a half. I would almost say similar to Gilbert, but I probably trashed on him more. Tarat.
Oh,
I mean,
fuck off, you cunt.
Tarap today. Listen, I haven't seen Tarap run. Listen, you see Tarap run and throw his arms around, like do, air, whatever he's doing, right? Aerobics on the field, all match, every match. I see that all the time, but this is the first time I've seen him run with purpose since the 2018-19 season. Like 2 full seasons. And it was incredible because he was getting back on defense. Like, much to Luis, like we were talking before about the crappy camera and all that stuff. I looked in the corner and I was like, is that Tarap running back on defense? What's he doing back there? I didn't even know.
Hey, João, zoom in, please, brother.
Yeah. I'm like, João, keep it right there. Don't zoom in, zoom out. Like, maybe that's why I thought he was moving so much, is because João's over there with the camera.
He's making that effect where if you move the thing, it looks like the guy's running faster.
It's
Yeah,
because
he's just getting in one place, really, but
he's showing the game to Sport TV, but actually DJing for the pub next door. So he's going, he's in both jobs, man. He's got to get his paycheck,
He was great. He obviously he didn't get the assist on the last Darwin goal, but he was obviously the one that kind of started that whole play. And then Rafa had the back pass from him, but he had the assist on the third goal, which is going to be my play of the match. Great. Sorry, Luis. Great play. So Gilbert has a presence of mind to knock it up to Darwin. Darwin also, much credit to him, doesn't try to do anything extra. Sees Tarap there, feels Tarap there, heads it back to him. Tarap takes his space. Beautifully weighted ball through to Rafa. And then Rafa with that clever touch to beat the guy and then just put it past the keeper. Like it was that was the perfect play. That I saw them and I literally saw the replay and I was thinking, is this what it's like to watch Sporting play under Amorim? Like it was incredible. And then for my shooties of the match, there's a couple guys.
Mate, I'll get on the flight now, bro. I'm telling you, I'll shank you. Look, see, you froze. Look at him. Did I freeze? Did he? I don't know.
No, he chopped up for a bit there. Yeah. All right, go, Luis, buddy.
No. He didn't finish.
Sorry, he didn't finish. Okay, sorry, go.
I'm back. Yeah. My shooties of the match was just Grimaldo. Didn't think he did enough. That's it.
Okay, well, I'll go next because I got absolutely fuck all to add. My player of the match was Tarap because I've always had this soft spot for him, and today he looked like it was like a shadow of what Tarap can do for this team, and it was good to see. It was great to see, and on the back of that, the player of the match is the third goal because it was that Tarap that I love from AC Milan, from QPR and all that, and also because I feel like it was a very important goal, more than a 1-0, more than a 2-0. It was you come back from the break and he just mean business. He came in, he scored an early goal, and any hope, any halftime talk that Famalicão had, it gets shattered straight away because you think like, oh, that's when if football had timeouts, the coach would have gone like timeout. Because that's what you need to do. For my chorizo of the match, I'm going to give it to Diogo, man. It's just because I was really, really looking forward to this guy. How many times did we shit on Gilbert, and always like, oh, I need Diogo there. Diogo's our guy. So I was hoping for him to come in today and show me that again, not to prove, because I don't think he has to prove anything. It's more like just to show me that you're still Diogo. And today, especially against Famalicão, and like Joe mentioned earlier, there's so much space on the wing. You got to utilize that. Especially being a Benfiquista, especially being the guy we know. I just expected more from him, and that's why he gets my shorties.
Cool.
And JJ too.
Yeah, there we go. No, it's usually, four people get tougher to get these. And my play of the match is that Rafa goal. And to me, it's just how it initiated. It was Diogo putting some pressure on the player, Famalicão's player back on our half. He was struggling to get the ball, and I can't recall if it was João Mario or Gilberto, but they applied the right pressure, and they basically applied the pressure, took the ball, passed it forward. The way it went to Darwin, went back to Tarap, the way Tarap did that through ball to Rafa, like just the speed and pace that within a few seconds it was in our back end, and just the movement of the ball and to kind of apply it on a forward motion. It's something that has been missing so much from this squad because, and as someone had said in the comments at one point, or one of you guys had mentioned it, that if that was João Mario that collected that ball, it would have been passed back. You know what I mean? So it's that distribution is critical. It's missing. It made a huge difference. It allowed for some beautiful plays. My player of the match then, like I love Rafa, and I obviously got the goal and things of sort. He got 3 assists, but I'm going to give it to Darwin just because of the the hat trick. See the kid lighting it up. We need someone that can score goals. This club is missing like a key forward striker, and Darwin seems to have it in him. There's something special about him. He's not quite there yet, but a little bit more of this, and we got our guy. And that kind of leads to my shooties. We didn't talk too much about him because I think everyone forgot he was on the pitch, which was Seth. He was there for 45 minutes, and he did not have one shot off goal, one shot on goal. He had 0 shots at all. He, I think, touched the ball only 9 times, and actually
That's
where he
good.
passed the ball 9 times where he got to touch the ball, and he only a couple of times. That's the guy barely did anything. Like he just basically was. If you actually look at stats of touching, just So
I'm actually happy. I'm actually happy that he only touched the ball 9 times. Imagine if he touched it 20, he would have fucked everything up, man.
I heard Luis say that's good to that stat, and I lost it.
No, because I thought, nine. It's like, well, that's a record, that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to be honest, you don't want him touching the ball too much. He's got a touch of a rapist, bro. Every time he touches the ball, he fucks it up. Well, no, I'm like, oh, fuck, that's too heavy. Is that too heavy for YouTube? Fuck. He's got a therapist. Therapist. That's what I meant. Therapist.
No, but the funny thing is, though, you imagine, sometimes you envision, okay, if you take a player out and who else you can plop in that position, if you had someone else that was a bit more dynamic, a bit more of a proper forward, and you see what Rafa and Darwin were doing today, and someone else that was a bit more dynamic that maybe could possess the ball a bit more, distribute a bit more, do something else with the ball, it just enhances that level of threat up front. Kind of like what we talk about the box-to-box. If we had the right box-to-box midfielder, maybe take out Joe Madi and put like a traditional box-to-box, it just really – the talent is there. Like I really don't think this squad needs much, but the talent is there both on the B team, the bench, and the squad. Just a few things we got to tweak. But yeah, man, touch of a bricklayer. There we go. Yeah,
that's the one. That's the one.
Disassociate myself from any comments we just made today.
I'm
only partly joking.
No, fair play.
I think
bricklayer. That's the one.
That's the one.
I just get the impression that Stefanovic is the kind of guy who you need to sit on the bench for a really long time. Then he gets angry, you bring him on as a super sub and he scores a goal. I don't think he can be a starting 11 footballer for us. It just seems to be the way
and today was a perfect opportunity to do that because he had obviously the Barca moment, right? He was sidelined at the beginning of the year because he had like the foot injury or whatever it was. I forget exactly what it was, his knee.
Yeah, and then Chuck lit it up when he first started it and things of sorts.
So like obviously he hasn't been. It wasn't like last season where it's him and Darwin, and then they throw someone in. But it is today would have been a perfect opportunity. Hey, listen, we're playing against Famalicão. Start Gonçalo, who we kind of forgot about it, but when we talked about the subs, they did bring in Paulo Bernardo, who looked great there. He had a couple like nice moments, right? I'm waiting for Luis to say something.
Nah, Sandra, get out, Sandra. Come on.
See, that's the other bot. There's 2. But no. But so the thing is, today would have been a perfect opportunity to start Gonçalo and said, listen, you have a game against a defense that's in shambles. They've given up 7 goals in the last 2 games. You haven't gotten a start for a while. Show me what you can do.
Yeah.
Right. This is my biggest problem with just the manager in general. I think Amorim would have done something like this, right? He would have taken the opportunity to say, look, situation like I was talking about situational football, right? Even in American football, you have to understand that it's not, you can't just take everything as X's and O's, you have to bring in the situational context and have that awareness too. And that's just kind of what seems to lack here. Don't get me wrong, because JJ thus far has done a good, not great job, I would say. If he had beat Sporting, he would have done a great job. Or if even, at the Luge, you kind of need a win there. But if he drew, still good to great, right? But he got us through the Champions League. And not even in 2 ways. He got us to the round of 16 and he got us into the Champions League, which right now, PSV, just a quick Benfica news, PSV is top of the table in the Netherlands over Ajax, thanks to a goal today from Carlos Vinicius, the Benfica loanee in the 90th minute, 2-1 win.
Which is, it's and there's talents out there. I'm curious, like someone's going to trigger that clause on him. I know the Jota clause getting triggered, which is they're cheap. But
7.5 mil.
Yeah, so we'll get 7.5 mil. Maybe Vinicius will get some money where we trigger that, or we bring Vinicius back.
But he's a 2-year loan. He's a year and a half, like a 2-year loan. So he
Yeah.
won't be back until the end of next season unless we recall him.
Yeah, we
If we
recall,
have the
or they trigger the buy, right? If things are going well and PSV are feeling confident about him, then
They probably wait till the end
Yeah.
of the second year though, just because
Yeah.
it doesn't benefit them otherwise. But
yeah.
but who
Yeah,
knows?
Seth didn't though, Boris.
Yeah, so it's it's one of those things where we're missing that part there. We'll see, and they got knocked out of the Europa League.
Well, yeah, so that's the thing. I mean, we saw them play. That team, that Gapco kid, unreal. Gotts is still good. Like, they have a good squad. And look at it. You're talking about who got knocked out of the Europa League. So did Leicester. Are they a bad team? It's Leicester and PSV. You could say something very similar. Leicester have been trash in the Premier League.
Spurs about to get kicked out of the Confederation League.
The Conference League. They're actually going to get kicked out of the Conference League. They need to win.
Man,
I think it's to be considered a forfeit. I think is what.
Hey, quick question.
Push for. Yeah.
Would you guys take the Espírito Santo Benfica?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would. He's got experience.
I don't know. I'm thinking.
I don't think I would.
I think
brand of football is not for us. Like, again,
Nah.
we were a mid-table team that has to defend a lot of the time. Like, I think the way he set up Wolverhampton as a defensive team so that they could take on bigger clubs and counteract a lot of those attacking teams, sure, that's great. But that's not us.
No. I agree.
I mean,
unfortunately, we need a team that can do both. I think when we go into the European, the Champions League, even the Europa League with the big money teams that are now appearing in the Europa League, we need a team that can play that style. But then at home, we need to be able to play against teams that park the bus. And if we play that style against park the bus, it's just going to be a boring 0-0. And it just doesn't work. We need someone who's got a broader vision of the game.
Luis, I have another name for you that's probably going to be pretty similar too, right? In a perfect world, this guy comes to you, January, let's say, right? Or
if it's from Argentina, yes.
No. This is someone else. It won't happen because of how their team's doing. But Marco Silva, former Everton guy at Fulham now. Yeah. That Fulham team scores.
Oh, big time! They're a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, and
I'll be honest with you.
So that's what I'm getting at.
I would take him, but I wouldn't be like excited. I'd be like,
okay, listen, you can't say Ahmad. You can't say Ahmad. You cannot say. You can't say Gallardo, but he won't come. Who's your guy that is like, wow, yes, like you're excited. You're excited that we got.
You just said his name. Yeah. If he said no, I'm not saying he's coming, but if I could pick someone, I'd pick him over Carvalhal. I would say this: if he said to me, if a baller tomorrow said, not a baller, but like Benfica said, Gallardo coming in January, I'd actually be like, guys, fucking, I'm excited. I would be excited, like I was when we signed Weigl, like I was when not Darwin, because I was like, what the fuck?
No, for me it was Weigl. I was
like,
pumped.
Weigl, yes, Weigl, of course. Even when we signed, this is going way back, Aymar and stuff like that. Those players, Aviola and all of that. When we signed those players, I was like, oh my god, like these guys are coming to Benfica, And if Gallardo comes and like a year after or 6 months after, Aymar comes as like his assistant coach, imagine that. Imagine having Gallardo with his like, I've always liked Gallardo, the Lamborghini. No, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, imagine that. Aymar could be the guy that shows you, oh man, this would be like a dream come true. And he's got the passion for football, at least. He's Argentinian. Argentinians always show that. Dude, like, I'm bring Enzo back as well. Get Enzo to do something, Selby Furnish at the kiosk. I don't mind. Like, just get him all there, man. Paint the stadium blue and white. All right, too far.
Yeah, I got too far. Yeah, I don't got a name, but
what about this one, Mario?
Boris is going on. Like, just the idea of a German coach from the Bundesliga, even if it's like from a mid-table Bundesliga side, it's just the mentality. Because I think the issue at this club, the talent is there, so the mentality is not right. And if you get someone that has, I don't know, a little clout, Benfica reaches a little deep, pays a little extra, just someone that's clout that the players go, I don't want a junior manager out of Portugal that he's going to walk into the locker room. Pizzi's going to be like, look at me. I'm the captain now. I'm still the captain after all these years. I want a German or someone that's established, or the guy from Argentina that's going to come in. Pizzi's going to say he's the captain. And he's like, yeah, captain to cleaning the washrooms. That's part of the key. You know what I mean? Just whatever.
I think the reason why I don't bring up, like, I saw someone say Ten Hag in the chat, right? We had Unai Emery, we had Lucien Favre,
Yeah.
like the old, all these like great managers. I don't even think Benfica is close to being on their radar, nor should it right now. I think if Porto with Conceição said, "Listen, I've had a trash team for the last 2 years. Look what I was able to do." Still, right? If he has a long Europa League run and is able to win the league somehow this year, I think Conceição is going to leave and go to another place. I think the managers would look
shit
at
on me, bro.
no. I never.
I was about to say, all right,
Sorry,
Lewis signed out. like,
No.
like,
But yeah, it's one of the bots taking over my mic.
I'm like, come on.
But the thing for me is like he's gonna leave. I think those coaches would rather go to a Port because they remember, hey, Port always goes to the round of 16. They made the quarterfinals a couple years ago. I think if Benfica, obviously this is going to change a lot depending on how tomorrow goes. Tomorrow morning with the draw,
For the draw, yeah.
right?
I'm excited, man.
I'm very excited as well. If it goes in Benfica's favor and we get a Juve or a Lille or a team that, after the first leg, the second leg is, open, as they like to say. I think that you start to get on the radar of these managers where like a Ten Hag, maybe not him because everyone in the world wants him, but more like a Gallardo, like that becomes more realistic. And thinking about these other guys, yeah, like that's a possibility. For me, I only mentioned Portuguese coaches because I think if a Portuguese coach gets the call for one of the big three, right now they're almost always going to say yes. Or I should say it's on the table, right? They're never going to say no. They're never going to decline the phone call. They'll take the phone call. They'll get wined and dined and be like, do I want to be closer to my, family? Do I want to be able to be in a league where I speak the language, know the team? They, would worship me essentially if I do well. It's always something else to kind of add to these conversations.
Do you guys want to listen to
Ten Hag's
go?
next year. I don't think Ten Hag is even a name we should be thinking about. I think
No.
that guy is probably going to be the Man U coach.
Same.
Because I don't think Ralph Rangnick's going to keep that job. I think they'll work in tandem. I think if we're a Benfica, group, we need to think a little bit about not just a manager, but who else comes with him. So I kind of have two names in mind. The first is I want Diogo Boa Alma to be our new director of football. He was at Santa Clara, and if he can do what he did at Santa Clara with that budget and bring that kind of football knowledge to Benfica, it would be unreal. Like Hidemasi Morita, who plays for Santa Clara, should be a Benfica player right now. If we were looking to find a guy to help support our central midfield and improve, Morita from Santa Clara is someone we should buy.
Real quick, where is Bo Alma right now? Because I know he left, but I don't know. Yeah, so he's just he's not like he's out there.
He's out there, and like he left before all the mess started at Santa Clara that's been going on. So I would like to see him brought into the structure. There were rumors that that's why he left Santa Clara. Correct. And then they brought in the guy that was working on television. But I still think we need another guy there. And then if we start talking about managers, Ernesto Valverde and Andrea Pirlo are out of work and would be interesting.
You think they would want to come?
Well, Andrea Pirlo,
it'd be the Rui Costa push. Rui Costa has a very hard sell, but it's there's an opportunity. It's like the whole Shevchenko.
Yeah,
yeah.
But I would be interested. I know he's not proven, but I would be interested in seeing if he'd be interested in the project because, I think much like people in Inzaghi, he made a mistake going to Juve for his first managing job. Like he went with his heart, and I think you got to start somewhere. Like remember, people went to AC Milan and his career kind of went down, and I think now he's at Lazio and things are getting better, but he made a mistake. He should have gone to a smaller club first, right?
Listen, I was actually going to say worst case scenario, you got Pirlo in the midfield. So he's going to solve it on his own or with the people in the roster. In the
he takes off the suit jacket, rolls up the sleeves, subs himself on. Yeah. The Ruben Amorim thing, like I love Ruben Amorim. My fear is kind of almost what you guys are saying is there is this odd thing where there's players that are great or managers that are young managers that are interesting, and then they go, okay, my next thing is my club. The my club thing has a weird bugaboo with a lot of guys. The amount of guys we've seen, not only in Portugal, but if you go to the EPL, you go to Liga, you go whether you looked at guys. Yeah, you look at Oli. What was the one guy at Liverpool a few years back before all Klopp? That was Liverpool legend, but it was a complete train wreck.
Brendan Rodgers.
No, Rodgers. No, Rodgers. No, Rodgers. It was different.
I was
anyways,
Rodgers.
Him. Yeah, he was. And then you see him here and there, and there's very few. Like Zidane is one of these abnormalities. A guy that is like a Real Madrid legend comes on, did it, but very different team he's walking into. Obviously,
who?
Zidane.
Zidane.
I know.
Pisses me
I'll
off.
just-
When I
every
meet
time-
Mario
every
and he
time-
says this, I'll get
Okay.
on
I'm
top
gonna-
of his chair just to slap him in the face.
I'm gonna get a shirt, but I'm gonna enunciate the letters so it clearly reads Zidane. Anyways, this will go on for very good. But yeah, it's yeah. Oh, real quick before we sign out, two things. Carolina, Luigi will do a meetup to get her shirt. She won the contest. We went through the whole process. She is the confirmed winner, and we are right now talking, figure out details because she's in the UK. It makes perfect sense. And then the other one is the draw, and the draw is tomorrow. If I can find out the draw details in terms of the hour, because the time zone difference.
It's 6 a.m. for people that are on the East Coast.
East Coast, okay.
3 a.m. rather for Rude and all those West Coast in the U.S. and Canada, and then it's 11 a.m. for anyone that's in Portugal or the UK.
To be in the right time zones, eh?
Hey, 6 a.m. is nice because by the time the draw actually starts,
I like that. I like that because it's like the first hour is nonsense. Then 7 o'clock is the actual draw, and that's me having my breakfast, watching it, and then off to work I go. For Luigi, 11 a.m. It's kind of dangerous. You might still be asleep, buddy. I know how you are.
About it, come on! I got a fire going, man. I've got it all planned out for tonight, man. To be honest, I'm knackered, man.
He set the mood for the draw with the fire.
But no, I'll put my alarm for 11:30, get up, make myself a coffee, and then I'll be like, and now for the draw, I was like, oh, perfect timing this is. We can even, you guys are working. I was going to say, Mario, if you're not working, we can watch the draw together. Joey's working, obviously. Look at his face.
We can.
I'll be on the way to work at that time.
We got extra matches now with the pass of the Liga, so we'll figure out the schedule. I think Wednesday I actually might be free. I just don't know if I'll be able to watch the match. I'm going to try to figure out how I can watch it. If we'll have the draw, maybe Wednesday we can talk about it and go from there, right? Yeah, get the draw. Yeah, I'll ask Drawn to if he can just record it and send it on WhatsApp. The video quality is not very high. It'll go through.
It's a shame that UEFA is so strict with copyright and stuff because it'd be quite. I could do it, you know what I mean? Morning, have a shower, have a coffee, and then even on my own, just get a camera in here, get a little group stage on the right. But it's so hard because as soon as you see something they take it down, it's just bosh.
Instant. Yeah.
Honestly,
I tell you,
it's like Sandra, man. They're crazy.
This is an offside comment, but I tell you this much: if they want to stop, inappropriate images of children on the internet, hire UEFA, man. The police do a terrible job. Just hire UEFA. They'll pull all that content off the internet like that. I have never seen. It doesn't matter what platform it is.
If you want anything off the internet, just tell UEFA.
Tell UEFA, man. They got it.
10 minutes.
Someone in the dark. UEFA are better than FIFA. UEFA better. Circumstances they're way better, man. Dude, I remember having a stream on Twitch. By the way, this is not YouTube. It's on Twitch, which is a bit harder to find for them. I was literally playing FIFA. I had a little tiny camera with the draw. This is a year or two ago, and as soon as the first anthem played, everyone I could see the chat down, 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 down. I'm like, what? It took I don't know. I don't want to lie. 5 seconds. It was hey! Sandra was there waiting. She was and it's off. Honestly, so good.
But yeah,
anyway,
before we go, the only other way we could do it is if we did our own pre-built system, and we got someone quickly typing and mimicking it, which we don't got time for that tomorrow.
Lewis, can I just say when I know it's a bit off topic, but when does Portugal play their
next round of games?
March 23rd or something.
23rd. Okay, so just in time for Portugal screws up, right? We do not go anywhere. We maybe beat Turkey, but then we get absolutely annihilated against Italy, right? JJ fucks off. We finish third. We win absolutely nothing, and then Ricochet goes, "We have now Fernando Santos to, as a new coach. We'd like to announce him today." Great. That's my nightmare. Imagine that. Fernando Santos at Benfica.
Again.
Cool. Imagine that. Oh, it'll be good with the youngsters.
If you put that out in the universe,
I know I'm a guest.
You know what's going to happen.
You know what I mean?
He's going to coach the team around Peasy.
If you stopped the show 2 minutes ago, I'd be a lot more comfortable because Like some things have been said that again I disassociate myself from. Like that breathing life into that kind of magic bad spell. I'm out.
Nah, it's all right. It's all right.
If that happens, there's gonna be this clip of Luigi that's gonna circulate all.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get famous for the wrong reasons. Damn it!
Sometimes I'll be just going about my day and remember that Fran Sanch is the coach of the team, and it's.
I thought you were gonna say Fernando Sanch exists. I thought that was it. I was like, come on. Nah, he's not that bad. He's
great.
not that
This one's great.
bad. Right then, boys.
But yeah, hey,
What a
wait,
great
real quick,
win.
since you're on and you weren't on the other day, who do you want to see Benfica draw?
I don't want Lille, man. You guys are gonna say Lille. I don't want Lille. They got way too much space. I'll go first. I'll say I'm okay with Juve. I'm okay with Juve. And do I have to say two or just one?
Two, ideally, because
pick your top one.
You know, I'd say Juve. People are gonna call me crazy, man. But like,
you're gonna say, I know what you're gonna say.
go on then.
United.
Oh no, I don't want United. No, I do not want United. I don't want any of the Manchester
the English team.
Although I do think we're gonna get one of them. I do think that's gonna be the draw. I'll take Juve and Madrid. I'll take Real Madrid. I'll
take United before I touch Madrid.
Yeah, I'd take my chance. Honestly,
man, I want to be able to say Ronaldo's never scored against us.
No, I want to be able to say it again though. Could you imagine doubling down on that? That'd be awesome.
Well, you're gonna get your wish, Mario, aren't you?
Maybe.
If we end up with Lille, or even if I don't think we can. Okay, do I think we're going to be favorites against Lille? No, Luis, but I don't think we're favorite. I mean, we're not in the winners bracket, so we're not going to be favorites
against anyone. Really.
Exactly, but here's the thing: I think that if you match up against Lille, if you match up against Juve, depending on what their form is down the line, again, today we're saying Juve. I don't think in March you're going to be saying, or February rather, you're going to be saying Juve, right? Just like with Arsenal last year, but. Yeah. But the thing is, I think that's a winnable match, or that's a match that you should be going out by 1 goal on aggregate, right? If at the worst, that shouldn't be a match where you go in and you're like, okay, they beat us 4-0 in the first leg, like a City or a Liverpool or Real Madrid with Benzema scores 3 and then scores a penalty or
Benzema will be out by like January, dude.
No way.
Yeah, he'll be injured.
I don't hope, but
I think we're gonna end up with United. To be honest, I just have this like gut feeling. But
I feel like City.
I feel
like I don't want that. Oh, City would hurt my heart so much.
Too much. There's too much in that for us against.
Too much. It's everything we wanted to do.
I want it to be against. I don't want us to get beat by anyone. But if we had to get beat, I'd be okay. I'd be the least upset about it being against City. Because I want to see those guys win, especially if they have João Felix come January.
See,
honestly, I think we might have our best chances against beating City with own goals from the old Benfica guys.
Mate, imagine the scenes.
Yeah, just header.
The one thing with City which I don't like is if we match up with a City, there's a couple teams that are like obviously powerhouses financially, and we lose to City, it's going to be everyone in Portugal, including Rui Costa, saying, oh, what do you expect? It doesn't matter that Jorge Jesus lost to Porto 2 times and lost all this other stuff. We put up a good fight against City, even though we lost. And they'll kind of find some twisted justification why everything's going good and everything's roses. And in reality, we should lose to that team, to be honest. I mean, I'm being pessimistic, but I think a Lille, like Joe was mentioning, you lose to Lille, they're a good side. It's respectable.
But they're in your realm.
But they're in your bucket realm. I agree. I think
not lose in January.
Yeah, and Ajax is a very well organized club, good club.
Don't give me Ajax.
But financially speaking, we get knocked out by Ajax. You can't say, "Oh, we lost out to like a mega billionaire club." No, you lost to a club that has less financial resources than you do and are better run than you. So you could say, "Hey, if you get your heads together, you could be the one that would beat Ajax next time because you have the resources financially." And within a youth academy and everything else that team does. And Juventus is my pick just because I'm hoping, but like you just said, it could be an Arsenal situation where right now they're drowning
down and it'll be up.
But I kind of hope it's more of a Barca situation where if they lose a few more, drop a few more points, and that top 4 becomes a little bit more elusive, it's going to be all of a sudden the firing squad because Xavi's in the firing squad already. Like after what happened with not only the round 16, not making it there for Barcelona, but again, he drew again this weekend. Like I think he's looking worse than his predecessor at the moment. So,
I think
yeah.
one thing that's also another just interesting thing to think about with all the competitions going on, right, is we have to remember that we have the fourth match at the end of this month for the Liga, right? I'm talking about the Liga only now. If we win that match, whatever happens, right? After that, that's week 16. Then you have, the last team you're going to face this season, or the first, the Primeira Volta, like they like to say, the first round of matchups is Paços de Ferreira, who, haven't been the best team, right? But here's the thing. Then we go back to the teams that we won against to start the season, the teams that we were supposed to beat. So you have a very good time to try to bring
Make
up
a good
chemistry,
run.
right? So the other thing that's going to be scary, Mario, just to kind of think about it, is if we do end up against the powerhouse like a Liverpool or a City, mainly those two, right? Those are kind of the two that stick out because we've already gotten past Bayern. We can't get them again.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to say, or whatever the pro JJ crowd is going to be able to say, or the anti-firing JJ crowd is going to be able to say is, well, look, we're still in the running for the Liga. Even after losing against Port, he hasn't lost 8 straight games because we played against, kids pretty much. Right? They won't say that, but that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
And then you just have to, if you beat Port in the Taça, which obviously we hope happens, you'll see who you get in the next round. They're not going to be better than Port because we know that the balls will end up so that Benfica gets Sporting in the next round, right? That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So you're going to get a lesser team. If we play in the Taça de Liga, we'll see which one of the big teams we get, right? And then, or except for Port because they're already out. And then it comes down to the Liga, which those games are all going to be winnable matches that you need to win. So it's going to be scary if you come off of another run in one hand for if the Champions League draw goes poorly. But on the other hand, this isn't like Arsenal last season where we had our biggest stretch in, January, end of January, and then February was trash with Arsenal. You're going to have a very good run for the players to get confidence built up, and hopefully JJ to, if he's going to make any adjustments or try to invent things like he always does, that's a very good time to try it against opposition you've already beat and you should be beating again. So I'm actually looking forward to see if we do get a team that's in our realm, because I think we'll have good momentum coming into the Champions League games. But obviously scared if we get a City and then, there's no reason to fire the manager because we lost to the better team, which is true. Yeah. But then.
No, but I know exactly what you're saying. They have the million list of excuses already lined up before the match even starts, and I despise that. Where I want this club to have and I'll be honest, man, and I hate saying this, when you look at Port and you look at their mentality when they go into Europe, that's the one thing I'm a little envious of. I'm gonna be honest. They have a good mentality that they take.
It's the DNA of that club, right? It's been there even before Mourinho. It's the siege mentality that Mourinho was famous for when he went to Chelsea in the first place, which is everybody is against us, everybody else is bad, and we're the only good and just ones. So everything we do to win is fair and should be done. And they will go out there and eat grass if they have to. It doesn't matter. They find players that have got that nasty streak, and then they just play. And they're right now they're playing the image of their manager for sure, right? That's just who they are, and that's not ever going to be in Benfica's DNA. But we don't have an identity in the same way. So they just are relentless, and it's frustrating because you'd like to see us also step up and want to fight. And we haven't really had that again since Enzo and Nico were on the team. There was these guys who they needed to win and they were passionate about winning.
Yeah, and they pulled Porto last year. They faced City in the group stage. They got beat, decently away at City, I believe, but they tied City at home at Porto, and then they put up a good fight against Juventus in the knockout rounds. Right? There's been other years you've seen it where it's again, I just want that fire in their belly to just fight. And then I watched some of the Braga game also, and they're just, I think a lot of guys would not cut it at Porto for this laziness that there is, or this ego. It's
Pizzi would not play 2 minutes at Port. He would, what would happen for Pizzi? Champions League final, right? All your guys are injured. Everyone's injured. You only have 11 guys. Pizzi's one of them. Conceição after 2 minutes starts to play with 10, takes out Pizzi because he's not hustling. He'd rather play with one less guy than play with Pizzi on the pitch, because Pizzi gives you absolutely nothing in terms of hustle. Again, I really want people that are pro Pizzi just to watch, because it's something that I will never get over, Is Peasy with the arms getting thrown up like he's Ronaldo not getting the ball? When he's like telling people to hustle when he's not hustling? When he's looking around when he just has to look ahead of him, right? Like he can already see 3 places at once to begin with. He doesn't need to be constantly bobbling his head and stuff. He's just never doing. He's never setting the right example for the team.
He had a point. He had a point about 4 years ago where he had it. Whereas the
no, don't get me wrong. When even like 2 years ago when he was scoring in. Listen, I'm not saying he can't create.
Those days are gone. Those days are gone.
I'm not saying he's not a playmaker because he still does have, he'll have those games. And I hope that there are more, and I'm excited to see more, right? He'll have a moment against Sporting or against Port where he scores, or he scores the PK in the big moment. But the thing to me is this team right now needs role models on the pitch to be like, okay, these guys, like Otamendi, that's giving his all every match, Gilbert, that's running his heart out and running like a chicken with his head cut off. Even Darwin setting good examples instead of players that really did us in during the COVID season, which is a Peasy walking around.
Almeida.
Unfortunately, Almeida, yeah, right. Almeida, though, I have to admit that I feel like at this point it's less of him not wanting to and more of him not being able to.
It's a capacity.
Right? But still, whatever. Like locker room, there's something there obviously too. Rafa, sometimes he'll just switch it off and say like, "Oh, I can beat that guy easily right now." No, I'm not gonna. Right? Like there are just these things. Like today, I was watching the team, and because it was a game where I didn't have to really worry so much about are we going to win because that was pretty clear in the 56th minute. I was watching much more like how does this team actually play? Like I was trying to take away the Benfica aspect of it and just be like a Primeira Liga almost like analyst in a way, right? Compared to Sporting. When Sporting players are up 4-1, they're still sprinting at the guys with the ball. Nuno Santos wants to kill someone every time he's near someone, right?
Yeah.
And that's a guy that was formed in Benfica. So it's not like that these guys are incapable because they weren't brought up with the Sporting mentality or really the Port mentality, sorry. Because Amorim's doing it at Sporting with guys that don't have that tenacity, but they're playing like it. Sarabia that came from PSG, a guy that actually said on record he didn't want to come to Sporting, now is one of their best players, right? As we've seen in the recent weeks, really too. So it just comes down to this whole thing of the team in a game like today. You should be making sure that these Famalicão players are going into the dressing room at the end of the match crying. Yeah. That when they go at the end of the game and get berated by their fans because Ivo Vieira makes them show face, that they're crying, right? You want to make sure that you're just pressuring them, and the team doesn't do that. And that's what allows for a lot of these games when we're up by a goal or two for the team to just, rest on their laurels and let the other team back in the game. Because it's not like Sporting where the team makes more and more mistakes because they're getting pressured with the ball, right? And so that's really what it is. It's like these Sporting teams, you watch them, these Port teams, if they're beating a team, they're going to keep the pressure on, and the other team will keep making mistakes, lowering their confidence, and eventually giving up goals, right? Yeah. It's just something, sorry, I had to get that out because I watched this today, and I didn't see that, and that's one of the things that's disappointing. We talk about vision. We talk about, identity. That's something that Benfica lacks, and unfortunately, as we've seen with Port and Sporting, works in this league. So it's not like the formula for success isn't there. It's that we're just not running with that formula for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all agree there's more than just
that comment from Nuno. They don't have a red pass in the starting 11. That's what these guys got. They got the red pass. Yeah, so excited for this week. I'm excited. Some people rag on the Taça Liga, but I think it's a great opportunity because to me, I always look at it. You're not going to play your main guys. What you're going to play is the guys that you find interesting that might take a spot in the first team. So you're going to look at these Marach, the Pharaohs. You're going to look at the Bernardo, these guys that are on the bench or peripheral. Some of the guys that maybe haven't got as many minutes that they probably should. Let's kind of see if we can work you, get something better out of you. You haven't been showing up as much. And then the sprinkling of the B team players. I always get a kick out of it because to me also it's for the main players to watch because they'll be sitting on the bench and watching the game and going, here's the guy that wants to take my job. Here's the guy that if he lights it up today, maybe if I screw up, the manager's going to pick him next time. And
after today?
Yeah. Cut out. You're back.
No, he's in the mannequin challenge.
Finish that thought. Sorry.
No, I finished my thought. You go. Go ahead. Sorry, cut out for a second there. You can still get 100 scooch for Pizzy.
I'm going to cut out an Paul Bernardo.
One of these guys.
Mannequin challenge, yeah.
Uh-oh.
I can't do it because of the fire.
Yeah. It's a challenge. I hear about this thing. The kids like this stuff nowadays. There we go. There's Joe. That's Joe in the chat right there because he's running to the BA90 chat right now. He should, and I agree. And just it goes back to the same point that Joe, I guess, was trying to tie in. Is just having that guy that's going to steal your job, and that's it. And if you got that fear, you'll work harder.
Yeah, agreed. And I think that's the other thing is there's more than George Jesus that we're talking about here. There's something in the change room that's not working. And I mean, Pizza used to be my favorite Benfica. He's not anymore, not even close. And I think what's really disappointing is you expect a player as he ages to get more cerebral and play smarter and adapt his game. And I think we have plenty of examples. I mean, Rui Costa, when he came back, was a useful player in every match he played, even though he was 35, I think, right?
Yeah.
So, but Pizzi's not that player. He doesn't seem to have adapted his game to, the age and the physical abilities. He's not gotten more intelligent as a footballer. So I think that's where we're at. Anyways.
Cool. Awesome. No, it's a good night. I was hoping to end this one under an hour. Obviously went a lot longer. I got to commit with the family. It's been fun. Joe just dropped out. Jason, it was great having you on. Hopefully we can have you back on again in the future. It was a blast. Louise, enjoy your fireside chat. Get some marshmallows and just pretend to get roasted
and sleep, man. Just gonna relax. Tomorrow day off, man. Just gonna see if he can get matched up with United and just chill.
I haven't seen the new Hawkeye episodes. That's what I'm gonna do. Watch with the family right now. Watch the new episode.
The what?
Nice.
I like these Disney shows. The Hawkeye, the Marvel. These are guys.
Hawkeye.
Yeah. Bing. Not Hawkeye. Hawkeye.
I was gonna say Mario, a bit sus. No problem.
I got that on this show already. I'm covered.
You need to clean it up big time. You need to clean it up big time.
I need to go to sleep. That's what I need to do.
Chaos.
Oh, the Grey Cup also. There's the Grey Cup. I think I'm going to skip the Grey Cup. I've never been a NFL/CFL. I know there's guys that are NFL fans that don't watch the CFL, and I'm not one of those. I just don't watch too much of the American style football, right? I've never been, but I might take a peek. But yeah, guys, thank you so much, Mike Hawkeyes. You guys have a great night. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the middle of the week. We'll get some more fun content coming out for you. And Benfica. Peace.
Peace.
Take care, everyone.